Welcome and thank you for joining me. Happy 2026. You may notice there is a little bit of a different look going on here. We have addressed a few different things looking back at 2025 and realizing that some consistency in messaging, shorter messaging, has some value that would be beneficial to put out. So we are operating under the Faithful Sinners Network. And what you're seeing today is our new rendition, which are going to run usually about 5 to 15 minutes maximum, called Sin-spirational Moments. These are designed to be more consistent, hopefully on a daily basis, but to focus in on a topic and or possibly an issue or something that's going on in our communities at that time. But dive deeper into something and then find some actionable ways to overcome. So welcome to today's first episode of Sin-spirational Moments, where we explore the various perspectives and unique dynamics of sin and its implication on our daily lives. Today, we're going to explore on our journey people not being the enemy. Well, why did I pick that topic? Interestingly, we are moving into a new year at a time where we're all trying to either find something to quit or find something to be better at. So, what an ideal time to talk about one of the biggest challenges that are going on. And I'm going to adjust here just a little bit. One of the biggest challenges that are going on in our communities, which is the inability for us to communicate and build that trust that we used to always have. So, when we talk about people not being the enemy, the goal here today is to understand that we are all human. We all have different challenges. None of us have the right answer for everything. So we need to learn how to work with one another. And sometimes maybe that doesn't mean that you interact, but how do you think or talk about one another? So when we think about people in general, our true enemy is worldliness, and its leader is Satan. Now, in Ephesians 6:12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, and against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Now, that's a pretty strong statement right there. But what I really take from it is that it's not my neighbor. It's not my sibling or my cousin or my buddy or my coworker that is the challenge. The challenge is worldliness, and the leader of the worldliness is Satan. And that goal is to put powers, sometimes people with bigger voices, louder voices, out there saying things to cause division and hatred. So our job is to try to get through this world, try to get through this life with a little bit of hope, grace, and understanding for ourselves and one another. Now, we can do that is, like I mentioned, I will introduce what are called fire starters, opportunities for us to find ways to overcome in these areas. So, how do we find a way to not view others as the enemy? Number one would be to build as our best defense to live a life of intention and appreciation. Because a life you love is lived with intention versus reaction. Matthew 5:44 says, but I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. Again, pretty strong statement right there. But along with that, our job is to appreciate fellow man, our neighbors, our families, our coworkers. Our communities need to grow stronger through us learning how to better communicate. And that just simply means sometimes listening, not trying to always provide a solution. And another way we can go about overcoming in this area would be the number 2 on here, which is others matter. Now, that's not just a nice statement. It's a biblical command. in Galatians 6:2, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. So we are to share others' burdens and show the love of Christ to one another. And that, I think, is important because, there's people in our lives and in our communities that we don't appreciate or approve of how they live or the choices that they make. But it's not our job and it's not our place to judge or to even cause feelings of shame or non-inclusiveness. Because we, especially if we're a Christian, then we're supposed to be living our lives as a demonstration to live like Christ and to provide an example for others around that maybe we don't agree with. But at the same time, our example is supposed to show the light. And then it's up to them. They got to make that next step. But we're not here to shame and to judge. And if you're doing that, maybe make that one of those things that you try to pull back from here in 2026. I know that my burn the worst of me pages that I've burned up in the beginning of 2025, one of them was to be mindful of not being shaming in my communications. And I did put a lot of focus around that this past year, and I noticed a big difference in relationships because of my efforts there. A third way is to avoid jealousy. Luke 6:38, for with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. So don't be vindictive. Drop the ego. Don't be prideful. And here's a good one. Positive self-talk about others. Garbage in, garbage out. Sits here in the heart. What you're putting in your head is actually going to ultimately be how you live. And part of what you put in your head is the way you talk to yourself about others. So when you're walking down the street, what are you thinking of that homeless person on the street or that same-sex couple holding hands? What your thoughts are really no worse than some of the words that may be coming out of your mouth. And along with it, the more it's hidden and held up here, the more it's growing in here and most likely coming out here. Now, the fourth way, this is probably one that we all need to do more of, and that's be of service. You want to feel better about something? You want to feel motivated? You want to feel inspired? Go volunteer. I get a little emotional around here because, I had an awesome experience this past Thanksgiving where I was finally able to take my 3 young kids down to a homeless shelter where they have some folks that are living on the street, dealing with addiction. And we spent the night in a church service, sitting alongside with everyone, meeting the kids, the families, having dinner with everyone, and just providing, someone to talk to and to lighten the load. It was a great experience for me. Been a long time since I'd done something like that. And for my kids, hopefully they really are walking away from that experience, understanding how blessed they are and how much of a blessing they can be. So those are the 4 ways that you can go about overcoming this concern of maybe others, not being the best people, because people are not our enemy, it's Satan. So I thank you for listening today. If you did enjoy this episode, you'll want to check out more on our website, thefaithfulsinners.com. And make sure to share and like us on your favorite social media and podcast stations. Have a great day and a fantastic 2026.